vote at disenfranchisement. So that one, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm
saying.
saying. What she said is one what she wants, plus the suggestion that could disenfranchise people because if you put in a text saying this
we have that ballot already. We have that ballot already with her name on it. That's what. Yeah, I understand.
And to add to that, again, you keep saying this in it. We told you from the beginning, when we do a ballot, it's St. Thomas, St. Croix together. It's one election. So the easier way to do was that way. If that's not the way, then we have to change the whole election for St. Thomas and St. Croix. So. I'm just saying that to move it up, you have the option.
That's not so. There are more candidates for the district senators than St. Thomas and John than
That's
St.
not what I'm
Croix.
saying. That's not what I'm saying.
But what do you understand what you're saying? Are you trying to make me believe? I don't understand. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying to you that other suggestion that Mr. Webster just spoke about. Why then should she show you how to read these barcodes? Who knows what the barcode going to say disqualified? Tell me the answer. Who knows how the barcode going to say disqualified? You have to go in the machine with a thumb drive to change the program, the code, correct?
Program the jump drive.
All right. So if they can do that, how come they can't correct the glitch in the area for class voting?
Again, it's in the functionality statement. Again, I go back and forth, but they send the statement I wasn't here. Again, it goes back, way back before that time. So that's the statement they sent forward. It says it's free to release to the press, so I can share it with them, and they can call ES&S Public Affairs Person and get all I'm trying to find out is how do we fix this issue, and if you vote on it, and you let me know what you need to do. Every day the clock ticks is a day closer.
So she tell you that
if you request the ballots and they don't come here, then it's not the supervisor's fault. That's what we tried to have this meeting for yesterday. I started my process Saturday. I tried to get information, what's the options, and well, I got to get options from ES&S.
What option information?
That's why they send this email and they send it. I know. I asked them, they send it on the 25th, Sunday. Sunday.
You have a ballot with a space on it, right? We have already cast votes in that space, and you telling me on election night when we scanning the early votes and we scanning this ballot with the space, they're gonna read the same way, the machine gonna read it the same way. That's why I need somebody to explain to me.
They're gonna read disqualified. So
how are we gonna read disqualified and still read a vote for the person?
No.
At the same machine.
No,
doing two functions at the same time?
You talking about space number 10?
Yes. This one have a space on it.
Correct.
Right? And we're going to be, let me say we took that option. How are we going to feed the machine, the ballots from all the voting in the same machine that we feed in? These ballots with a space in and the machine reading two different things. That's what I need somebody to explain to me. I'm not a computer techie, and that don't make any sense to me. That don't sound like you.
She can't do that. She telling them something because we don't believe the foolishness.
No, it don't make any sense. So I don't know how that could be done. Maybe it can be. I don't know.
She said here again, we all need calling our technical person to advise the board. If they write her name in a space, it won't matter because the system will not look for anything in that location.
Right,
The coding around the edges tells the DS200 which ballot it is. It's nothing to do with the candidate's name or not. It's the coding for the school and the polling place.
Okay.
If they remove the space, all the mail-in and walk-in ballots will not be able to be read, so they will all have to be recreated.
Wait a minute, please. That's not true because the early voting ballots that were used already. Put through that machine will read the vote as is with Lisa Hansen's name and then.
Okay, put through the machine with a
hold on, please. No, hold on. That's what I'm saying. Those are the voters and absentee ballot is already here. Would read according to what is on the ballot now with Lisa Hansen's names and there.
Yes.
So she to suggest, that's right. For she to suggest now that you will put a disqualified code to here to the ballots after compliance code, that's a joke. Because then you'll be disenfranchising people that was saying, if the ballots right there now are put through that DS200, you'll read Alicia Hans' name and all the other votes.
Right.
He will do that. So this thing what she's telling you is not going to work after she print the ballot the right way because the machine will be read and coded to address the ballot as it's coming through after they change.
Right. Right. That's my point. That's my thing. Reacting the same.
So I'm not accepting that game from Mr. Alex.
No, that don't make no sense.
And the gentleman and the engineer for ballot design and the vice president told me and this gentleman, Lisa Wells, Liliana Belado Daniel, and Raymond Williams in a demonstration from the beginning of the ballot design And even the new technology where they could put a part right there to accept a smaller card as a, what do they call them thing? Time and attendance card, and some of them, wasn't that so? You remember he showed you a small card, like a time and attendance card? You put a tray to the top and put it and you read the same way?
You talking about the scanning from your phone?
From your phone, to pre-create your own ballot. And they have a piece of card and this piece of paper.
Yes.
Can be read just like this, but he told us that he's supposed to have it on his phone. I don't mind what Alexa said. She can't fool me. And I'm saying they
You're talking about the smaller
that's
ballot.
right.
Okay. Yeah, what he's talking about is you scan it from your, you make your selections from your phone, and then it gives you a what they call a barcode. You go into the office and you, it's like a you know, like at the grocery store you have a scanning handheld device, and it either prints it from a printer or you go to a smaller ballot card that's blank, and then insert it into another machine and scan the card with your cell phone, and then it prints out exactly what you see on your screen. Okay, I won't confuse anybody with that, right? You got follow me so far? Okay, all right.
And it cannot be used more than once because the system with the e-poll book will register you as when you voted, whether it's here, at home, or the computer, swiping it across there. That's the technology that I was speaking about. With this same machine to be upgraded, and they could have done because it's prepared and DSC certified to do the same thing. I ain't making no story. He was there, Liliana was there, Raymond Williams was there, and Alisa was ready. My intention, I'm not supporting any ballot being put in the DS200, and when it is ready to take anybody's name off of any count that was recorded before the court order. So this game that they're playing and they're waiting to see, and they said and vote on which court order our employees should take. They're encouraging a violation of contempt of court order. Because the time when Mrs. Lewis ordered Mrs. Sachs to put back Alicia Hanson's vote, they didn't have no meat to decide which court order she wanted to follow. She went ahead and followed what the district court said. There was no meeting to let Ms. Fox hear if the giant board wanted to decide if Ms. Fox could follow the district court. So how come now, after Judge Wilma Lewis in the district court last order determined that the issue before the court was a local matter and therefore the local court should decide? Yes, 200 at mark. I understand from an email and from Mrs. Fox and from Mr. Terrell that you would have been here yesterday. You have completed the testing of the DS200 and the atom mark. And I was asking Mrs. Fox from last week for a report from you to verify what was done and what have not been done.
Well, we couldn't get a report from last week because you had to add a new ballots. The ballots came in Friday. Yesterday, I load the election and the machines. Up to this morning, we test to make sure every single automat have audio and is reading the correct ballots. Because just like the machines, the automat will not read ballots that come from a different precinct than which is that.
So in other words, the rest has an understanding. The machine would not read ballot from any other precinct, meaning St. Thomas and John. It would only read a sync ballot. Okay.
Clarify that. When I say a sync, what do you mean by?
Not a sync ballot. If you want Alexander, you can only read Alexander.
Yeah, that's what I'm understanding. Because only ballot from the precincts and polling places in St. Croix can be read on the machine, right?
Well, yes, but still no, because before, remember the ballots, you could have got any place with the ballot and it would have read.
Right, that's true. No, they
now,
mark.
just like how we mark the school name,
Right.
it's the same with the automark.
So,
The automark and the DS200, they have to be the correct school.
and precinct. Okay, so then, a ballot from the St. Thomas St. John district would not be able to be read over here regardless of polling place and precinct.
Well, it can be read on the absentee machine,
Right. With the absentee machine.
like the one that was coded for all voting and they have the mailing,
Right.
that could read.
Because people are allowed to get absentee and mail in on us. Just want to be sure. But Mrs. Sachs didn't get the report from it.
Nobody asked me for a phone.
So only you was doing that?
Me alone was doing the coding the election yesterday, and myself, Mr. Remy, and Ms. Williams was making sure that every single atom of audio is manned.
So only today, Mr. Remy and Mr. Williams are joined. How much machine you did yesterday without anything?
How much machines?
Yes, ma'am.
I did all the I do all the DS200s
Yesterday.
yesterday. So then we only did the atom.
Mrs. Remy and Mr. Williams only was present for the Atuma.
Yes.
All the GS200 was yesterday.
Yeah.
And the Ms. Factor, Ms. Whitaker, know that was up.
That was done. Yeah.
You tell her or
She was here while I was doing it, and I told her that we was doing that. Yes, well, she actually contacted me yesterday to coordinate with those in St. Thomas to do the same thing. So she knew I was here doing that yesterday.
Well, I would like to ask you, since we don't have that cover day anymore, that you can prepare something in writing, what you did for us, please, so we can have it on official record, what you said and what you did, date and 10 minutes present. Can you get that from you, man?
Sure you can.
Thank you.
Is it true?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Just to
sorry.
keep the process moving forward, for everybody's benefit, so we can maintain transparency, can you explain to them, so the board, the audience, and what do you do with testing, uploading, so that everyone can know what you mean by in programming, actually, the DS200, what is the process?
The process, well, we have to burn each jump drive for each machine, which is coded for a specific precinct. Once you do that, we load it, we enter the qualifier, which has to go into every single machine, and then we load the election, which is the jump drive that I burned. After that, we scan the ballot to make sure that it's accepting the ballot that's supposed to be for that precinct. Then we do the same thing for the Atoma. We put in the flashcard, insert the ballot. Once the ballot is inserted, it comes up on the screen and it will tell you the school name, everything that's on the ballot. It comes up on the screen. We turn up the volume, go through the ballot to make sure that we can hear audio for every selection.
In addition to that, if we're going to representatives of member, only one please. Please go to that. You finished, William?
I'm not done,
No, because what she was explaining, I wanted her to explain the process was testing for each candidate on the ballot. Was that done?
Yes, we did. We did not do all the ballots because we were not aware of the process y'all want to use to do the certification. We did four precincts, which is Colorado, Ricardo, Charles H, and Tony. Those are marked to test every single oval except the writing ovals.
Did you test? Any reason why you didn't test? What categories you tested with names on the ballot? Did you test a ballot with each candidate name to show that that candidate on the ballot name is coming up?
We mean test one
Yeah.
ballot or each ballot?
Each ballot with a different candidate name.
Yes,
and
that's how we did it. Every single ballot only have one vote.
So,
Okay.
Well, except for the ones that don't be the symbol, you're going to see that they don't have for each person for the symbol.
So for the record to be clear, for people who are listening, if you had 20 candidates for 4 or 5 different categories, governor, delegate to Congress, at large, board of election, senators, referendum 1 and 2, that was done in this category in the test.
Yes, it's 40 ballots and all 40 of them goes to one oval.
I just want to make sure that everybody listening here understands what you're saying. I try to show because I use the phrase here when it comes to BIT. I want the people who are listening and writing don't misunderstand and write something that you didn't say. That's why I prefer to have a report. And since you agree that you prepared for all of us to have it on record, my responsibility to make sure that you ain't part of any misrepresent what you say, what you did. So for the record, you say you tested 40 ballots,
Yes.
which represent each category and each name on that ballot,
Yes.
front and back,
Yes, except for ratings.
except for rating on the single page that will have to be created. You have a page that can be created for rating, and that will be done manually.
We didn't do the ratings because I understand from, I think it was one of the joint board meetings, that it no matter if they shade the circle or not, they're still going to count it to. So we didn't test it.
Well, I'm saying I understand it, but the intention for writing as the machine is mentioned, then if I write in Terrell Alexander in the writing section and I don't bubble in Terrell,
It's not going to show on the tape.
thank you. So if his name is shown on the page,
It's going to show on the page, but not on the tape. Well, the tape only says if it's 1, 2, 3, or how much ever rating.
okay,
But it's not going to show the name. And if you just write the name and not share the oval, then you won't have no writing on the tape.
but I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah,
Mr. Richard, Mr. William.
Yeah, and again, just trying to keep the process moving. You said you prepared for the board selection and for us just to certify. We're using a new system, what we did in the past and what we did in the primary. I don't know if that can be utilized specifically on this for the general election, right? What we did for the primary, like how we fed the ballots to ensure every candidate got a vote. That's the same process we're using today. Or
Like how we did it for the early voting.
the process was not for the voting was similar.
Okay, you talking about primary or order voting? What you talking about?
I don't know why I did the primary.
But what we gonna explain?
Or the early voting, we did each candidate, well, each oval. You can't just say candidates.
Right.
Each oval except for ratings.
You did a referendum.
As well as the referendum, yes and no. So it's a total of 40 ballots for each precinct.
Mr. Ross, my understanding is that you did 4 precincts,
Yes.
so that 10 left.
Yes, because I didn't know if you was gonna do all or how your certification was gonna be.
I understand. I just want to bring that to the board's attention because we got to do all. So I don't know when the schedule is going to occur, when that's going to happen. But you having done 4, that gives us a head start. But we have to put a schedule together to do all.
Yes.
So I just want to bring that to the chair. Except Mr. Ross, before this meeting is finished today, this vote must vote to make sure that the other 10 must be complied, not to leave any suspicion or expectation that we want to leave 10 polling places and precincts unchallenged. So at the appropriate time, we have a motion that all 10 remaining areas and polling places on the machine are tested. So you start with 10 times 40. Correct, Mr. William?
Correct.
A motion.
Are we clear, Mr.
So
William?
anybody can check out it.
Well, before we go, yeah.
We're just, the testing that you're talking about is just for, again, testing each candidate. Are we also testing for overvotes? And are we also testing for those possible scenarios where cross voting might come up?
Well,
Excuse me before, as I understand, testing is required by the company thing. You only can test individual candidates so that each individual candidate is only on each ballot. That is why, as they do the testing, we show that the machine is appropriately reading the bars for that particular candidate and rather not selecting other categories in any place of another name of a person. Meaning after you finish that, we or whoever's here can test the machine similarly how we're demonstrating it for cross voting, over voting, and read-only marks. Those are three different things. So she's just speaking to the function of testing only a ballot for each candidate. She mentioned she tested 40 for 4 places. She said I have 10 left, so 10 times 40 is 400 more ballots she have to run with one in West, one in West there. So, am I correct?
if you have to do, you said you guys have to do every single one, so
Right.
you have to do 400 basically.
That's what we're going to do. And that will be the testing of the new ballots that came in that none of us haven't seen yet.
Yes.
So, thank you. So, I need a motion from any member here.
Everybody clear before we start?
Huh? You
We'll
finished?
see when it
I won't say shit. Huh?
I'll see when it comes.
But are you
No,
clear?
we need to set a policy
Let's go.
to do it, but you're already clear.
Let's move.
So I need a motion for that purpose, please.
Okay, I know that the process, as explained by Ms. Billing, the process that was used specifically to test all the voting systems. There are pretty much 14 DS200, 18 DS200s, and
19.
19 DS200s, and how many Atama?
14.
And 14 Atama that the board has to test. All those machines have to be tested
Before
before election. So,
amendment.
well, that was not the motion. I was just trying to clarify the process before I made a motion.
Could you make it then so?
Well, let me hear
Could you
what
say an amendment and you
yeah,
motion?
that's what I said. I was just explaining what the process possibly is.
So who will make the motion?
You're
for this
including
process?
the board books in this, right?
No.
No, you could have nothing to do with it. So your motion have to begin what you want to do with Mr. Ross. Going to have a second from anybody here, and then an amendment will be after. So you could start off with your motion, get a second.
But my thing is, in the past we've normally selected at random a certain percentage of systems to be tested. So I don't know how comfortable we are with doing that process as opposed to trying to be here until 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to test every single piece of equipment.
Okay, well, my position is, William,
But
I am sure in my mind that I am only comfortable if all the Atomac and all the DS200 are tested. In St. Croix, we have a young lady named Williams, right? We have a young man from Waco, his name is Mr. Harry. So we can have Mrs. Fox and Mrs. Billin get in touch with those 2 other people, because the only problem we have with Mr. Harry is if Waco have a situation, you have to be to Waco. If today is no school for Mrs. Williams, we can get in touch with Mrs. Williams. Right? She's right here in that. So we have at least 2 people that can start immediately to begin what we're here. So, and who?
Harry's here now.
Harry's also, we have 3 of them right here.
St. Remy's here.
St. Remy have 4 now. So we can start that process providing that someone is witnessing it. And I don't know if you want to, what you want, but I think we can start after we take and satisfy ourselves that she did that portion satisfactory. And then from that on, I will entertain your motion to address the concerns of how we want to either accept others or not accept others. So, Mr. Ross?
You make a motion?
I want to hear what you
My motion was that we start this process at 8 o'clock tonight.
oh,
And the reason,
because
if I get a
you're
second, because we have to finish it
so
so that it can be transferred to the phones on black and white.
Well, that's-
This is not a, if we,
I understand.
if we want to do it.
So your motion will be to do it and here will be the time, correct?
My amendment was started at 8 o'clock today.
That's
But
basically
we're
what
starting
you
at 8, simply because we gotta wait for Ms. Fox to show here.
Not really, no, first of all,
Remember, because you said that when we started, you spoke to the fact that.
she was gathering information
Right.
for us.
So until we approve a ballot, which we don't have, what somebody is saying.
Right.
You follow me?
But if we can stipulate that those are the ballots that Ms. Dillon already tested, then we can continue thereafter. But I'm saying the motion still needs to be made and seconded in order for us to do anything with any ballot from 8 o'clock. And I understand your motion was to start to do the remaining 10. Mr. Morales' amendment would have been to start at 8 o'clock.
My motion would not to do the continuing time, because she has to do that. It's not a matter of a motion to tell her to do that. She has to do that anyway. So my motion has been to let her continue her work. And in the interim, we can. I wanted to go ahead and initiate, but we got a ballot in front of us to begin with, and we have not approved the ballot.
And the only thing we can do is with this young
We
lady.
did it go back. We'll bring this back to
The situation, Mr. Williams, the custodian of those ballots right now is supervising the election.
Right.
So until this young lady from PIT gets one of those ballots from where they are accounted for, to bring it to the board so we can see it, we will know what she is testing, what she was testing, if we're willing to agree and stipulate that what she bring here now is what she already tested. And that's what you tested the ballot right. So if we see what she's tested, she can continue in no absence, except that the continuation begins at 8 o'clock, or you want to hold her here? No. We want to be able to finish the 400 ballots between tonight for the freezing of the polls to have them packed. I think they were packing them, right? Very packed.
No, she doesn't need a specific amount of ballots that she's going to use for
I
testing.
have the testings. I have the testing.
Ballots, right.
So you have the
For four.
No, I have the test ballots for all.
Okay, even better. Even better.
So if you have all of them, let's move to the motion. Set the time.
I was going to say, I'm also going to.
Oh, she can get it. Oh, she can go for it. So what we're speaking here, and you can bring I understand. Yes, sir.
We're not glad.
We waiting for Ms. Dillon. She's going for the ballot for the package that she took out that receipt. She would bring a ballot to all of us to look at it and verify that that is a ballot according to what the code says. From there on, Ms. Dillon would continue with that same set of ballots, since she already used 40 already for 4 machines, utilizing those same. We have a record of the amount of ballots that she tested, when, where, how, and who's present. That's what I need a record for. Because if there's any way to go further, this board supervising and approving some function must have a tangible piece of paper or evidence to present anyway when any candidate, any board member, any senator who wants to challenge it and say this is what we did and such as a thing. That's what I would prefer that we have. So what, yes, Mr. Ross.
The process requires the presence of a board member when the machine is being tested. Actually, it requires the presence of 2 board members. It doesn't require the whole board to be present. So I don't want to give the impression, and I know that you're not getting it, or I don't want the impression to be left, that all this testing process is going to occur in our absence. All right? So while the technicians are going to assist us in expediting the process, we have to be here to make sure, and the public is invited. This is not something that we do behind closed doors. The public is invited to see the process and to attest to the fact that we are there making sure that the machines are working the way they're supposed to work. So I just want the whole caboose to be put on the table. That it requires the presence of board members, it requires the assistance of our technicians, and John Crew Public is invited to observe the process. So when we indicate that this particular machine has been tested to do all the functions that it's supposed to do, they would have been a witness to that process. And I just want to clarify that. And they will witness the machine being sealed, not to be opened by anyone else until the judge will open it at the appropriate time on the election day.
Well, I think that's our past practice that we did with the primary election, so the same procedure will have to continue. The machines will be tested, sealed, and tagged according to the code that is on there. So that's why I was saying, if we had gotten a report, having what the young lady mentioned in Arden, we can at this late minute don't believe that she's making up any story. And she can tell us what it is that she did, absent the board member, and since we don't have other board members, I don't know if the board member was there when she did the 40. It's better to finish the other 10 and the others in the presence of at least 2 board members. So after we finish it, or when we finish, we could decide to let her continue, we can set a letter with at 8 o'clock. So what is the wishes of the
No,
board?
and then we need to let her continue so she can be finished so that we can continue.
Okay, I need a motion, please.
I thought it was clear.
And you were clear, but
We need to return here at 8 o'clock and be part of this process.
so that she can continue what she was doing.
Not until we return.
So what you're saying is I understand what Mr. Rossman he's saying, but we already decided that she was going to continue, and we're waiting for her to bring the ballots to look at that's those the ballots came. So after she brings it back, we set the final approval as those ballots. Then we tell her she can't. She, Mr. Remy, Mr. Harry, and Mrs. Williams cannot start until 8 o'clock when at least 2 board members are here. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
That's what you're saying.
That's
We
what
need to
he
take a
said.
vote and if we have a disagreement between them.
I'm not trying to disagree, but what I thought that we were doing, number one, we need to see the ballot, approve the ballot, to ensure that the ballot that we are utilizing is a ballot that is, the ballot is used on election day. And then allow her to continue with the work she's been doing on and on.
Except that none of us, at least 2 of us, will be able to visualize that the machines are actually reading the barcode pursuant to the 40 ballot that she did already.
Right.
So in all legal and fairness to everyone, candidates and us, it is better to let Mrs. Billy know we have a report verbal what she said she did. So we'll have to let her know to discontinue as we speak right now if we agree that that is the ballot that was required by the court order. And then she will have to get those other people in market rather than have them sitting around here that they should be continued. So we need to have a motion on record what it would be. So
Well, my first motion is we recess until we get a ballot. Let's review the ballot, raise out recess, approve the ballot, if it so is approvable, and then the second motion is to support the process. That
so
we
then we
discussed.
can stand and recess for 5 minutes.
I move that we stand in recess for 5 minutes to review the ballot, and then raise back out after 5 minutes, and if the ballot is correct, to approve it.
Any objection? So move. So
Second,
ordered.
second.
No objection. So